Okay, let's go ahead and start our PLC meeting.
Okay, our RES 5th grade norms are active listening, maintain integrity, respect one another and our work together, and be committed.
And our grade level goal that we're working on is by May 2012, all 5th grade students will improve by 4 points on their writing skills, specifically language, as measured by our RES writing rubric.
Okay, so last time we met as a PLC team, we were assessing the situation. We were looking at the run chart and the Pareto diagram. We had 4 data points, 4 weeks of baseline data that tells us how our students performing in that SMART goal. And of course with that was the rubric that was created in the prompt, so we have a standardized way that we can all collect that data. Certainly tracking progress in data center and data folders. So what we're going to do today now is move from assessing a situation, now that we have baseline, and we're going to be asking the question why. What are the root causes for the results that we're getting? So as we move into step 3 of PDSA, analyzing root causes, we're going to use 2 tools today. One is the cause and effect, or what's called the fishbone diagram. The other is the relations diagram. When we have more than one potential root cause, that tool will help us narrow down to what might be the primary root cause. So the first thing we're going to do is start with the fishbone diagram, but we start with brainstorming. So before we start getting into kind of throwing out ideas, let's each have some individual think time. Let's take 2 or 3 minutes, 1 idea per sticky note, and do a brainstorm answering the question, what is causing the results that we're getting in the data that we see in our run charts and Pareto diagram? So as we get ready to use the fishbone diagram, we're going to come back to the Pareto, looking at where was the greatest area in need when we looked at that Pareto, and it was in the area of language. So let's read that SMART goal one more time, and I want us to make connections back to the area of language.
By May 2012, all 5th grade students will improve by 4 points on their writing skills, specifically the area of language, as measured by the Ridgeview writing rubric.
Okay, so as we're brainstorming, I want you to think about, since language was kind of that tallest bar in the Pareto, what would be causing this to be the case? Why is language the greatest area in need when we look at that rubric and in the prompt and in the whole aspect of writing? Why are kids struggling with this? And if we can get to root cause, it will help us when we try out an improvement theory. So let's think, 1 idea per sticky note. What could be causing language to be the greatest area in need of improvement? Okay, so we took a few minutes and everybody independently brainstormed ideas, 1 idea per sticky note. We're now going to move from brainstorm into the affinity diagram. And when we do an affinity diagram, what we're doing is taking ideas, reporting them out, and if anybody has a similar idea, we're going to kind of group those together in the appropriate category. If it's time related, it will go here. Content related ideas will go on this bone of the fish. Teachers, students, and curriculum materials. So depending on where these ideas fall is where we'll get them located. And we're using sticky notes because we might first put an idea here and decide later it belongs somewhere else. So we want to keep everything very mobile, and sticky notes allow us to do that. So let's start the round robin. Nicole, why don't you go first?
Okay. A reason I think might be an issue is that there's no time for students to apply skills. So
Okay.
I'll put that in the time category.
Okay. Did anybody else have anything similar to time?
I did.
Okay, let's hear those.
Just not allowing time to apply skills. It was the exact same idea that Nicole had had.
Same idea, okay.
And I have time and really just moving on, maybe before they're ready.
Okay, so the pacing can be an issue as well. Okay, Deanna, next idea. What's the next unique idea?
Maybe students are not familiar with figurative language.
Okay, would you see that under students or would you see it under curriculum?
I think maybe under content.
Content?
Maybe they haven't been taught that yet.
Okay, what other ideas do we have?
I think that teachers not covering necessary content could also go in that content area with Deanna's or possibly teachers too.
Okay, let's leave it there for now.
One thing that I had is our focus has mainly been on math and reading, and the writing, we've not been able to spend as much time on it because we've had such a large focus, so I don't know if that would necessarily go with content or time.
Okay, let's put it in one of the locations so the idea will at least be represented.
Content for now.
Okay. Okay, so we've got all of the ideas represented on the fishbone, and what we're going to do now is get this typed up into a Word doc so that we can have a hard copy of it, and then we'll continue our conversation about which of these do we think might be causing this issue with language. So I took all of our ideas from the fishbone, the brainstorming that we did, and got them into kind of a Word format so we each can have a copy to reflect. And I know you've had a little bit of time to kind of look at this. What it comes down to were really 5 key areas. Focusing on other areas as a distraction came out as a primary cause. Students not familiar with figurative language, students rushing or the pace, teachers not covering necessary content, and then teachers not allowing time for students to actually apply those skills. So we're going to take those 5 key areas that really came out, and we're going to see which one might really be the primary root cause, and we'll use the relations diagram to do that next. Okay, so the first step when we do the relations diagram is we take those top 5 root causes from the fishbone, we display them kind of in a circle pattern, and we're going to start with one idea and start comparing it against all the other ideas and see if there's a relationship. Does this cause the next, or is that causing this? So we're going to start here with our first one, and let's start with the relationship between focus is on other areas or students rushing. Any thoughts on which way this arrow might go? Where's the relationship between these 2 factors?
I think because the focus is on other areas, students are rushing. So I think the arrow should go to students rushing there.
So is this causing this? Would you see the arrow moving from here to here?
Yes.
Okay, let's draw that in. And basically, if an arrow's going out, it's influencing or causing something else. If an arrow's coming in, it's kind of the recipient and it's being influenced by the other variable. So let's now move over to a relationship here, because we're going to compare this with each of these and try and establish an arrow relationship. So what are your thoughts on this one? Focus is on other areas, students not familiar with figurative language.
The cause of students not being familiar with the figurative language, it would be because we're focusing on areas other than the writing. We're focusing more on the reading and the math. So I would say that this is a cause of this.
Okay, so we'll use the arrow to demonstrate a relationship there. Okay.
Okay, and
what
then
else?
teachers not allowing enough time to apply skills. Because we're focused in so many more areas.
Okay,
So this is in
so this is causing this focus being scattered. Okay, so what we're going to do is just continue and make a relationship between each item, and then we'll move to the next and start a relationship with each of the other boxes. So we've established a relationship between each potential root cause, and as we were going through this, we even reversed some arrows that at one time we originally thought there was a cause relationship, when after discussing it, it turned into an effect relationship. So we've taken each variable, compared them to the rest, and we now have indicated by number how many arrows are coming in and how many arrows are coming out. For example, you can see there are 3 arrows coming in and then 1 arrow going out. So this would be, it's always in over out. So this is 3 arrows in, 1 arrow out, 2 arrows in with 0 arrows going out, 1 in and 1 out here. No arrows coming in but 2 going out. Same thing with this variable. So when we look at this, we're primarily interested in what is influencing most of the other variables. And clearly, with 3 arrows going out, this is a primary influencer. And if we can focus our root cause on this and eventually our improvement theory, how would we try and fix this? We might be in a better spot for getting even better results. So the relations diagram has helped us take those 5 areas we thought could be problematic and narrow it down to what we think is the primary root cause. So when we come back in our next PLC meeting, we're going to focus on how do we take this primary root cause and what do we do about it? And that is finally stepping into the do phase of PDSA, trying out an improvement theory. So let's be thinking about what would we do about this, and next time we meet, we'll come and have a discussion about what's our improvement theory if we think that's causing the results we're getting.